Hey guys, I'm Steph and welcome back to my beauty stash, or welcome if it is your first time here. Happy to have you here. If you like what you see, please consider subscribing and hit that thumbs up before you go. Today I am trying out the brand new Anastasia Beverly Hills Primrose Palette. This is a face palette because she's giving us two blushes right here, which of course can be interchanged as eyeshadows, which I will likely do in today's video. And then of course we are getting 10 shadows, a mixture of matte and shimmer. And then this one right here is one of those matte shades with a little bit of glitter in it, like a little bit of sparkle in it. I will say I've already swatched this palette and no issues swatching. The blushes, everything seemed to swatch really well. It was very pigmented and it was very smooth going on. So we're off to a good start there. Now I will be creating two looks using this palette. Now right now you can only find this palette on the ABH website, but I want to say it is heading to Sephora in a few days. So I'll definitely keep you all posted. And this palette retails for $55, which I think is a little bit high. Usually her eyeshadow palettes are more, I think, along the $44 to $48 price tag, but maybe it's the price point because of the two blushes. Who knows? I will say that I do like this packaging. It's like a pink quilted type of packaging, and I like the little detail right here on the corners of the palette. It does say that it is good for 12 months after opening and it's cruelty free. So we're definitely going to put this palette to the test today. I also picked up two other things that I have had my eye on for a while from the ABH website, and one of them is the cream bronzer. I picked up the shade Amber. Haven't even swatched this one yet, but I've been wanting to try this cream bronzer for a while. I do enjoy using a cream bronzer. Now this next purchase was a surprise because you've heard me say, if you watch my channel for a while, I don't typically go for cream highlighter or liquid highlighter, but you know, I'm trying new things, I'm branching out, and I picked up one of these highlighter sticks. This is in the shade, this is called Pink Diamond Stick Highlighter, and let me show you what that looks like. So the shade is very pretty, really pretty, and when I start using these products I'll be sure to swatch them before I begin. And then on the other end you get a little brush. I do like the packaging on it. It's like a rose gold mirrored packaging. Actually the packaging on all of the products is pretty good. Like, it looks really nice, very sleek, very neutral. And this palette, it's not going to get dirty the way the Velvet palettes do, so I'm happy. I hope she continues to do this type of packaging because I think it looks really good, easy to clean. I'm excited to see how all of these products are going to work. Now before we begin the application portion of today's video, I will insert swatches of the eyeshadow palette both indoors and outdoors so that you can see what the shades are going to look like on a fair to light skin tone. So let's get started with today's video, guys. I'm excited. I have some new makeup to try out for you guys, and if y'all want to see the new ABH Primrose Palette in action, keep on watching. All right, so let's begin with the cream bronzer. Again, this one is in the shade Amber. And here's what the bronzer looks like swatched. And to apply, I'm gonna use the BK Beauty 107 brush. And let me start on my forehead. Now, I've seen a lot of reviews on this here on YouTube, and a lot of people seem to really be enjoying this cream bronzer. So I definitely wanted to try it out. I have a lot of cream bronzers in my stash, which is why I didn't pick this up initially, but this looks really nice. It looks like it's giving a nice glow Or maybe that's just because of the foundation that I have on. I am wearing the ABH foundation. This is the Luminous Foundation, and I use the shade 160C in this one. And I'm also using the new ABH concealer. This one is in the shade 3. This is the Magic Touch Concealer. And guys, of course, everything that I'm using both on and off camera will be linked in the description box of this video. Some of those links might be affiliate links, so if you do end up purchasing, I thank you so much for supporting me and my channel. It really helps me out, guys. It really helps me out a lot to continue funding my channel and just doing what I love, playing with makeup, you know? Who doesn't love playing with makeup? That's why y'all are here, because you love playing with makeup just as much as I do. So I think this is a really nice shade. It's definitely giving a lot of warmth, which obviously a bronzer is supposed to, but I like the shade of it. Really, really pretty, and I really like the way it's going on. A nice, healthy glow. Love it. Now, I'm not going to put any on my nose because I already put some powder on, but I'm just going to leave it right here on the cheekbones and on the forehead. And now, since the palette has 2 blushes, we're going to go ahead and try out the blushes before I apply the highlighter. So I'm going to do one on each side, and then I'll end up going in with the other shade on both cheeks so we can kind of just even it out. But let's start first with Grapefruit. All right, so I'm going to use my Rephr 04 to dip into Grapefruit. Okay, so that looks really pigmented. And this is the lightest shade, and wow, okay. Definitely pigmented. That's pretty, and that looks really nice with the bronzer. Just gonna pat over it with my semi-damp beauty sponge. That's a really pretty shade. I really like how it complements the bronzer as well. I didn't expect that shade to be this pigmented, but that's pretty good. Now I'm going to go in with the second shade, which is called Saddle, and I'm taking that on a Morphe E4. Also very pigmented. You make sure I tap off this brush real well. Okay, wow. Let me get some off on the back of my hand. So definitely these blushes are, I think, going to be flattering on a deeper skin tone, as well as, you know, somebody with my complexion as well. And I like that. I like that they're versatile. You know, it's just going to depend on how heavy you go in and the type of pressure you're applying when you're using your brush. So just go in light-handed. A little bit, get a little bit, and go in light-handed, and you'll be fine. Now you could maybe do this shade, Saddle, maybe higher up over here, and then do Grapefruit right here on the apples of the cheeks if you wanted to do it that way. Maybe you're not wearing any bronzer that day. So you can kind of mimic the look of a bronzer maybe by using the blushes in that order. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to go in with whatever I have left on this brush. I'm just going to add it in over here, just so that they can be kind of even. And I'm going to pick up now a little bit of Grapefruit, tap it off, and just apply it right here. Definitely easy to mix and match these. Okay, so now that we got some nice color to the cheeks, I'm going to go in with this stick highlighter. Again, this one is in the shade Pink Diamond. I'm going to swatch it back here on my hand. Wow, that's pretty reflective. Actually, I'm just going to use what I just swatched. I'm going to use the Sigma F03 brush to apply. That's pretty. And I'll take a closer look to see how it's applying on top of the powder. All right, so let me take a closer look. Oh, that looks nice. That looks really nice. That went on top of that powder blush really well. And of course it was going to go over the cream bronzer nicely, but wow, that looks so pretty. I think this is the perfect highlighter shade to complement this face palette. Okay, I'm excited. So far we're off to a really good start. Now let's start creating the first eye look with the Primrose palette. Now I've already primed my eyelids with, of course, the Anastasia Beverly Hills Eyeshadow Primer. So let's dive into this palette. I know some of you are wondering, Steph, you like colorful makeup. What made you buy this neutral palette? You know, I don't know. I think I was kind of drawn, honestly, to the blush shades. And I just thought the color story was really pretty. I just thought it was really nice and something I wanted to have in my stash and, of course, review for you guys. So let's see. I do want to try using the blushes as eyeshadows because, of course, you are able to do that. This shade, Penny, is really calling my name, as is Primrose right here. So let's see. I think I'm going to start with Grapefruit. I'm going to put Grapefruit in the crease, and then I'm going to go in with Mango right after that. Now to apply Grapefruit, I'm going in with a Rephr 16. All right, so that looks beautiful, not just as a blush, but also as an eyeshadow. Now I'm going in with Mango on a Rephr 14. I'm gonna bring that slightly lower, but also in the crease. Maybe a little bit inward right here. There is some kick up in the pan. That doesn't bother me, but in case it bothers you, just FYI. I'm going to clean off this Rephr brush and I'm going to go in with Claret. And I'll be working that on the outer corner and also building it in the crease. This is a pretty shade. All these shades together. It's just a nice color story, you know? I know it's not like the most unique color story. Like we definitely probably have this already in our stash. There was just something about this palette that I was drawn to. Now I'm going to clean off the brush and I'm going to pick up a little bit more of Mango. And now I'm going to go back in with Grapefruit. Okay, so I think we're getting a pretty decent blend. Really nice. Okay, now I'm going to really deepen up the outer corner with Deep Berry. And I'm using a Rephr 13. And I'm bringing that a little farther in. That way the other shades can show. All right, so now I'm not gonna do the shimmer shade just yet. I'm gonna do the lower lash line and I'm gonna go in with Primrose. I think that'll look really pretty on the lower lash line. And I'm using this little BH Cosmetics pencil brush. Doesn't have a name or a number. This is a beautiful shade. Okay, now I want to use the shade Honey. I'm going to try picking it up with my finger. This might be more of a topper shade. Yeah, I have a feeling. But that's okay. I'm going to use a damp brush. I just wanted to see how I was going to apply with my finger. All right, so I'm going to use a Rephr 21. I'm going to add a little bit of Deep Berry just to make sure everything's blended. All right, now for the inner corner, I think I'm going to go in with this shade right here called Rose Water. And I'm taking rose water on a damp Rephr 03, and wow, that's beautiful. So maybe what I should have done was put this shade on the lid and then go in with Penny on top of it. But that's okay. Just trying different things. You know what? I'm gonna pick up some rose water with my finger. Just kind of bring it in a little bit. All right, so I think we have a really good blend going on. Let me add some liner and mascara, maybe lashes. You know what? I'm gonna do lashes today. I'm gonna do lashes. This is the last video I'm filming for today, so I want to do some lashes. I don't think I have any ABH lashes, but I'll find something and I'll be right back to show you look number 1. All right, guys, so this is look number 1 with the Primrose Palette. I added some House of Lashes in the style Juliette. For the lower waterline, I went in with this what is it called? The Natasha Denona Macro Tech eye crayon in the shade Burgundy. And for my top lash line, of course, my favorite, Wet n Wild Breakup Proof Liquid Liner. And I think this looks really pretty. I am liking how this turned out. I do want to mention, and I forgot to mention this during application, but I did experience some fallout right in here. I want to say it was from one of the shimmer shades. I could have been from Penny up here, but I was able to wipe it away really easily. No big deal, but just wanted to mention that. Let's jump over to the left eye and start creating look number 2. All right, now for look number 2, I'm gonna start with Honey right here. And I'm taking Honey on a Rephr 16. Wow, that is, okay, that's pigmented. Wasn't expecting it to be that pigmented right away, but okay, nice. Definitely quite a bit of kick up in the pan, which I think it's been a while that I haven't used like an Anastasia eyeshadow palette, with the exception of those Norvina palettes, which I love those large Norvina palettes. I think in those other palettes, in her regular palettes, there is kick up in the pan if I'm not mistaken. I mean, that never bothers me, but I know some people want to know that, so throwing it out there. No issues blending any of these shades though. I mean, they're all blending really nice, and they even just swatched so well. They felt really smooth going on my arm. So I'm just building this up. That's a nice shade, nice transition shade. Now I'm gonna go in with rouge, and I'm using a Rephr 14. Now I'm going to go back in with the brush I used for Honey. No additional product. I'm just going to use it to lightly blend out the edges up here. I'm going to bring rouge down. Okay. So now let's go into, I think I'm going to go into Fire Opal. This looks like such a beautiful shade. Now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put Fire Opal, it's kind of thinking all over the lid. We'll see. I'm picking some of it up on a Rephr 21, and I'm going to try not spraying the brush. Ooh, oh wow. Okay, I think I want this all over the lid. But I'm going to spray it because I feel like I'm getting fallout. Ooh, this shade is beautiful. Then I'm going to add a little bit of gold to the center. A little bit of sparkling amber. Now I'm picking up some more of the shade Rouge, to make sure everything is seamless. Isn't that such a beautiful shade? Wow, that's nice. Now I'm gonna go in with Sparkling Amber. These feel so creamy. I'm just gonna place it right in here in the center. Wow, look at that. That's beautiful. All right, now I'm going to go back in with the shade Honey. Right up here. All right, I like that a lot, a lot. Okay, now for the lower lash line, I'm gonna go in with Saddle over here, which was that second blush. And I'm taking that on that little BH Cosmetics pencil brush. These shades are just so pigmented. So pigmented. That shade is the perfect complement to Fire Opal, which is on the lid. For the inner corner, I guess I'm just going to go in with Sparkling Amber, and I'm going to use the same BH Cosmetics brush. I'm just going to spray it. Look at that. That's beautiful. Okay, we need to take some of this down here. I'm feeling fallout. That's okay. I'll wipe it off. This is a beautiful palette. Wow. Okay, so now I'm gonna add some, the other lash and some liner, and I'll be right back to show you this second and final look. All right, guys, so this is the completed look number 2. Wow. I really like the shade. What is the shade called? Fire Opal. This one right here, stunning. And then with Sparkling Amber on it. This is really, really cool. Really nice. I just went in with, of course, the other lash. For the lower lash line, the lower waterline, I wanted to use just a black liner, and I went in with this one from LA Girl, same Wet n Wild on top. And I really had a good time with this palette. I really had a good time. I don't know what I was expecting, but yeah, this definitely exceeded my expectations. All right, guys, so let me give you guys my final thoughts in case you don't know them already. This is a good one. This is a good one from ABH, the Primrose Palette that has 10 shadows and 2 blushes. Of course, you saw me use both blushes, not just on my cheeks, but on my eyes as well. Amazing pigmentation, very easy to blend. I mean, super pigmented, super pigmented. Dip your brush in lightly, especially because there is quite a bit of kick up in the pan. You can kind of see it also over here in the Saddle blush and a little bit even on the shimmer shades. The shimmer shades are beautiful. I mean, wow, you are gonna get some fallout from them, but I mean, they pack a punch. This shade, Penny, is more of like a topper shade. So definitely layer it over another shade. I think it would work out a little bit better that way. But I used every single shade in this palette and none of them gave me any problems. I'm like really liking the 2 looks I created. We have a berry look and then we have like a fiery look over here. Really nice for fall. I mean, I kind of get summer vibes from this palette, but then I'm also like on my eyes, now that I have the looks done, I'm getting fall vibes as well. So it's definitely an all-around neutral palette. Don't just reserve it again for one time of the year. Use it year round. I like the blush shades. I really like the blush shades. I think that's what I was drawn to with this palette. And I like the packaging. I really like this packaging so much better than the velvet style packaging. So I really hope they continue to do this style. Overall, guys, if you're looking for a palette that has these shades, maybe these are your favorite shades. Maybe you're interested in the blushes the way I was. Definitely consider picking this one up. I signed up for the texts or the emails and I got a 15% off coupon. So that's how I bought this, as well as the bronzer and the highlighter, which I'll talk about in a second. So I would definitely go that route just to save a little bit of money on the palette. But I think it's nice. I think it's really, really nice. I think it's worth having in your stash. As far as the cream bronzer goes, happy with it. Very happy with it. I love the shade. This is the shade Amber once again. I want to say this one was for light to medium skin tones. I don't fully remember, but they do have a nice shade range. You can find this at Ulta, at Sephora, not just on the ABH website. Right now, this one is only on the ABH website. I think September 30th, it goes to Sephora. I will have it in the description box if I can find a date where you can pick this up elsewhere besides the ABH website. The bronzer you can pretty much find at all ABH retailers, and I'd recommend checking this out in case you want to try out a new cream bronzer. This is a good one, and I really enjoyed this highlighter stick. This one is in the shade Pink Diamond, and I thought it paired beautifully with the two looks. Really nice. I am gonna have a lot of fun with all of these products. Everything here is getting 2 thumbs up from me. All right, guys, so now I want to give you guys some alternative options in case you're not able to pick up the Primrose palettes. You might have some of these other palettes I'm going to mention in your stash. I wanted to mention these 2 palettes, one from Too Faced, one from Patrick Ta. I do not have them in my stash, which is why I'm just showing you guys pictures, but these would also make really nice alternatives for this ABH Primrose palette. So the first ones I pulled out were these from Juvia's Place. These are the mini palettes. They're 6-pan palettes, and they retail for about $15 a piece. I pulled out the Rustic Bronze palette, and I also pulled out the Blushed Rose palette. Both of these minis were released this year. Now here's the Rustic Bronze on top and the ABH Primrose on bottom. So I know there's no like red shade in the Primrose palette, but they're similar tones, especially like the shimmer shades as well, and that bottom matte shade. So I thought it would be a nice option, a more affordable option, as well as the Blushed Rose. You can see that one on the top. Definitely with the shimmers, and again, some of those matte shades, one of them being at the top, the other one being at the bottom. They're kind of similar to what you can find in the Primrose palette. Now, I also pulled out last year's Huda Beauty palette. This is the Naughty palette, and I know some of you have this already in your stash. So I think these are super similar to one another. What do you guys think? You can definitely see that some of the blush shades that are in Primrose, you have them in shadow shades in the Naughty palette, as well as the shimmer shades that are in Primrose, you do have them in the Naughty palette as well. I thought this one might be the closest palette to resemble Primrose, but then again, this Naughty palette is more expensive than Primrose, but you might already have it and not feel the need to pick up Primrose. Next, I pulled out 3 Natasha Denona palettes. Now, I know you might not have all 3, but you might have 1 or you might have 2, okay? Let's compare it to the latest release. This is the Retro palette. So now you can see there are definitely some similarities. Maybe not necessarily with all of the shimmer shades, but you do get a few of the shimmer and a few of the matte shades that are very, very close to one another. Now here's the bronze palette compared to Primrose. Very similar. Similar in tones, and of course similar in shades, not spot on. But if you have one, you might not feel the need to have the other. And finally, here's the Zendo palette. Now, I realize that Primrose doesn't have any blue or green, but look at the other shades. Look at the other half of the Zendo palette. That definitely complements the Primrose palette. There are definitely some similarities in there. Now, I also pulled out the latest from ColourPop. This is the It's a Mood palette. I have already reviewed this one. So again, don't focus necessarily on this side of the palette. Just look at the shades right here. Let me hold them up. And you can, again, definitely see not spot on, but there are some similarities. And the ColourPop palette is $35. And of course, you get way more shades than what you would get in the ABH Primrose. And then finally, I pulled out the new Be Perfect Carnival 4 Antidote palette. Again, I have already reviewed this one. I created 4 looks or 5 looks with this palette. This is a beautiful palette, beautiful. And here it is in comparison to the ABH Primrose. This is definitely a nice alternative, and you're getting way more shades, and I want to say these are about the same price. All right, guys, so that wraps up today's video. I hope the alternatives were able to help you. I hope maybe you're able to recreate the 2 looks that I created for you guys today. Let me know your thoughts on this new ABH palette. Is it something that's on your radar? Are you going to be picking it up, or are you just going to pass and kind of wait to see what else pops up for the holidays? There are definitely a lot of makeup releases coming, and I have a lot of videos. I have a lot of videos coming up, so definitely stay tuned. I want to thank you guys so much for watching another one of my videos. You all have a great day or night wherever it is you all are at. Stay hydrated, guys. Drink that water, and I will see you all very soon. Bye.